We have concluded so far that identification of semantic roles may be a difficult job uh, in its actual practice. In this regard, we can see various problems associated with identification of thematic roles, and in this module, we'll talk about it. The list of roles we have discussed so far vary from author to author, and we can see some people label the same role in one way, and the other authors might label the same role in a different way. And we see authors disagree with each other on identifying these roles, and also about demarcating the boundaries of these roles. For example, we can see the debates about the roles of patient and theme, role of the agent and actor, and then the roles of actor and experiencer. We find difference of opinion among various authors. In this regard, the entire problems about the identification of thematic roles may be brought down to two major points. First one is delimiting particular roles. We can see that it may not be an easy task to identify or relate certain roles with a certain verb easily, and we can see that it becomes sometimes challenging to do so. The extreme case would be in this regard to identify individual thematic roles for each verb in a certain situation or sentence. Thus, we would say that a verb like, we can give an example that a verb like beat would refer to or would give us an idea about two thematic roles of the beater and the beaten. I mean, based on verb beat, we can possibly assume about the existence of two minimum roles, and those are of the beater and the beaten one. So, identification of roles based on these various verbs may become a challenging task. Similarly, and moving forward, we can see it's very difficult to find a way how to define these thematic roles. What semantic basis do we associate with these roles while we characterize them in a certain category or in a certain position? Facing these problems, Doughty has given us an idea about classifying these individual roles, and in this regard, he argues that these roles may not be seen as semantic primitives, rather they can be seen as the entailments of the predicate of the action of the sentence which is under discussion. In this view, a theta role is a cluster of entailments about an argument position which are shared by some verbs. If you just look at the example in front of you, we got three sentences here: X murders Y, X nominates Y, X interrogates Y. In these entailments, or the entailments based on these sentences, we can say they all include that X does a volition act. In all these examples, if you see, the action is being performed by certain choice, by volition. So X is agent in all these actions. X moreover intends this to be the kind of act named by verb, that X causes some event to take place involving Y. And what are those actions? Y dies, Y acquires a nomination in the second sentence, and then Y answers questions, or at least hears them in the third example here, or in the third sentence. X moves, or at the same time also moves or changes externally, not only or not just mentally. So there is a clear movement also here, where X moves and moves with his own choice. He murders, nominates, and interrogates. So in all these examples, we can understand the roles based on the entailments. And what are the entailments? In the first sentence, I just repeat, where X murders Y, we have the entailment of dying. X dies, then nominates. The second, we have the entailment of nomination, and in interrogation is of answering questions. So based on these entailments, we can identify the roles of the actors here or the agent here. Such a set of shared entailments about X will serve us to define and will help us to define the nominal which denotes X as agent. So as I said earlier, that based on such shade entailments, we can define a certain nominal object. So theta roles may, in this regard, may be defined as in term or may be defined in terms of shade verbal entailments about nominal referents in a sentence.